How are you guys doing? Voicebox here. Some of you may know that in our favourite video games hold some really cool and sometimes just straight bizarre findings, one that are usually out of bounds. Aside from data miners discovering the mysteries of the gaming cosmos, sometimes all you need is a free cam to explore far and beyond the reaches of the Netherrealms. And what better way to do that than hoisting the sails and venturing forth on the PCSX2 R. Today we're going to take a look at one of the best Metal Gear games of all time, and in particular is Metal Gear Solid 3's Subsistence. If you know, you know. This golden relic had 3 discs containing loads of cool features, such as Snake vs Monkey, and the beloved Secret Theater.
You can't defeat me. That all you've got?
Damn it.
And even the original MSX games have even been thrown in as well. There is tons more features on the Subsistence version that probably makes it the best one we've seen. But you guys already knew that anyway. What you really want to know is what is behind some of the secrets of the Outer Bounds in MGS3. But before we dive in, please consider subscribing and support the channel. And like my pinned comment if you want me to make a separate video on how to set up this free cam mod so you can find some discoveries of your own. So anyway, let's just get to it. In the Virtuous mission we get to look behind the scenes in which we cannot see, which is fascinating. That's the beauty of the free cam. Trouble is, it's hard to capture some things, especially with moving objects, and there's really not much going on in terms of secrets, but we do get to see a bit more of a personal look of what the devs didn't intend us to see. So I try to go back into the piloting room where Zero is, but it's just designated in one section where Snake is based. Interestingly, we just see a reddish backdrop with a outer pod of the plane. The one thing to note about the free cam mod is when this camera is changing in different sections of the cutscenes, the camera also changes with it. You get to see Snake jump off the plane and experience the untextured map. That looks huge to the naked eye. It's impressive to think that even with such limitations, devs could make the environment look so expansive. Sadly, the cam could not keep up with Snake and is quite slow. But it is in its early development, so pressing X helps reset the camera's location. In Dremuchij South, it hasn't got any secrets I could find or assets kicking about, but I couldn't help just gazing off into the distance when I first ever played MGS3 and thinking, what was beyond all them trees and mountains? Well, now we know, it's just a lot of paper looking mesh textures and a makeshift sunlight that shines brightly over our wonderful mission. One thing that did catch my eye, given on the camera's zoom function, was the amazing physics of this backpack. Just swaying in the wind, begging for Snake to get his Lunchables. For PS2 guys, it's just impressive. We were so lucky to experience these games on such a great console. Making it into the swampland was the same. I was kinda hoping we would see some kind of giant croc asset or something, but we really just get to see what the swamp would look like from underneath. And funnily enough, it reminds me of something in Dark Souls, where we sink into the mud leading to the ethereal world with a tree that is sticking out upside down. Although there wasn't much to find, it was clear that the devs made this little sections that had to be loaded into other sections of the map. I can't wait to see if the remake will have these seamless transitions without loading screens. It'd be really cool to zoom out on a camera mod and actually see the entire map all interconnected. Dremuchij North wound up being a whole lot of nothing, just like everything else. That really is just the map layout. and I'm quite sure as well, but there seems to be some foggy textures added from above. There is quite a few parts like this from what I have found, and it just turns up a whole lot of nothing. There isn't really much hidden secrets, but I'm sure you can take a look for yourselves when I make the guide. So I might just skip out parts, it's because I'd rather just get to something more noteworthy for you guys to see. So yep, it's one of the most iconic parts within Metal Gear Solid 3, the wobbly bridge. I decided to shoot the beehive and follow the soldiers to see where they would be, and maybe what would be the outcome of their character models. And well, of course they technically vanish, but we know they run off to Razvet. But thanks to those guys, they brought me to a cool out-of-map experience, should we say, where I found this cool flowing river that seems to go around the mountains. I tried to follow the river from where Snake would have been thrown off the bridge and flowing downstream to see where he would have landed, but of course the game code hasn't loaded in that section just yet, but I'm sure we'll get there. So we know we have to rescue Sokolov, who is severely balding and is currently burning his blueprints when Snaky Boy comes to the rescue. But the great thing about this free cam mod is its ability to capture some of the cutscenes in any which way you would like. And what makes this most interesting is that we get to see some of the KGB soldiers spawn into the cutscenes, and even get a glimpse of them hiding behind the building.
An ocelot never lets his prey escape.
What?
The attention to detail is wonderfully showcased, although truth be told, at times the free cam can be sort of blurry in scenes, but the devs really have invested realisms to a whole new level within the cutscenes, even seeing shell casings just lying around on the ground. It's fair to say that the devs haven't left any stone unturned though, because once again I could not find any assets or anything of interest lying about. And we're back to the bridge, and I think it's worth showcasing here some of the interesting cutscenes and just overall things we don't see outside the main cam. Interestingly, we see at some point the Payne's Hornets show up. They actually attach themselves to the camera, and we get to experience the horrors of what the characters must be going through. Getting a further glimpse into the helicopter, we usually see the Fear and the Pain stood watching the whole affair from above, but at one point we can actually see just Sokolov calmly chilling next to the Fury without wearing his helmet. The thing is, trying to get the cam on a section is a race against the clock, but if you use the demo theatre you can go back and do it all again. It's cool to see how things have changed as well within the environment, with seeing the rain just fall down, to then witnessing the sure drop that Snake falls from. All from different perspectives, adds a cool level of layers of immersion and actually adds to the player experience to experience the scene on however they choose. I guess if you was making a project you could get some nice shots with this cam, including some thumbnails for your videos. So once Snake is at the bottom of the river, you can actually see the Sorrow's corpse for a lot longer than just pressing R1 for a few seconds. This part was difficult to try capture some moments because the Shagohod is being carried and moving in flight, but we do get a glimpse of Volgin actually firing the Davy Crockett and the nuclear blast itself. My apologies if I've given you nightmares and if you have a fear of bugs. Even this is making my skin itch just looking at it. But I always wondered what was going on behind the scenes whilst fighting Ocelot, and it's fair to say it's horrific, even seeing this guy's face swell up as bad as it does, and one poor guy trying to run off and get stuck in a cliff. And it's really cool to see how these devs have made these little battle arenas for us to play in, and when getting a bird's eye view we get the full perspective. Truth be told, it's hard playing with the free cam whilst actually playing the game, since you need two pads for this to work. One for the camera mod, and the other for doing what you guys do best. Now this one I definitely had to showcase in the video, which is the cave systems. Zooming out on the camera we can see the entire structure itself, ranging from its waterfalls, its crawl spaces, and just all round bizarre build. What else is worth mentioning too is the little pockets of light we see venturing in the cave, that are actually like square spotlights over them areas. There wasn't much to see yet again, but using the torch actually allows us to get a better look at things, including the structure of the cave. It's fair to say it's like a whole different world outside of the map. It would have really been interesting to have been in Kojima Productions to see the development of this map that the devs put together. Because it's amazing how it looks so great when you're in game, but when you go out of bounds it appears the tools used to make such structures seem so simple. I'm not claiming to be an expert on these matters, but if any of you know anything about gaming maps and assets and how they come together, I'd love to hear it in the comment section down below. Further digging into the cave, that reminds me of kind of like Minecraft with the textures. As we go further beyond, we can notice as well where the little pockets are in case you fall. These tunnels are perfectly square and just seem to fall into the void. But once again, I still couldn't find anything that may have been left in the game. It's fair to say that Kojima Productions is one tidy team. Before we talk about the end, I just want to showcase the river with the guards flying on the crafts. We really don't ever get to see an open view, and it just looks spectacular watching the little world of Metal Gear Solid 3 go by. As I'm sat here, I'm like nearly 30 years old, amazed at the graphics for a PS2 game, although it does have plenty of patches. I know some of you love trolling the end and watching him blow to pieces and get Snake hit in the head with a wheel, but I'm curious to see where exactly does the soldier take the end, and well, nowhere. They just vanish into the distance, never to be seen again. But I couldn't find any secrets. Once again, it's just an interesting map design. Okay, so this is where it becomes strange, because underneath the map is the map itself, but it's upside down, if that makes any sense. Why this is, I really don't know. I just get weirded out. It's almost like another dimension, and it just gives off weird vibes. So I know you've all wanted to see this one, it's Granin's lab, and well, just on the outside there is a boarded door. There's nothing in here apart from metal boxes. It's no good for us because only cardboard is the way to true ascension. I tried to get a good look at the roof and there isn't anything in the inside of them. These towery blocks are empty, but as you go through them you can see windows, but they are poorly rendered and there isn't anything there to see. But as we go inside, it's eerily similar to the Ponizovje Warehouse, where the map is upside down. And I'm telling you guys, there's a multiverse going on in this game. And there is a Soviet poster on the wall. I still have no idea what it means, so if any of you guys do, drop it in the comments. And if anyone has Mami Yamazaki's details, be sure to slide her a DM. What is it with Kojima and these posters of these models? I'm pretty sure the guy's a Chad. Whoa. When you make it to the lower floors of Granin's lab, is where the scientists are researching. You may have noticed a sliding metal door you can't get through. Interestingly, there is some partly rendered environment of the layout itself, including a door, including some old gaming magazines lying around with MGS on the front cover. We get to see some of the overall structure of the facility, and something horrifying that will definitely scar me for the rest of my life. Looking around Granin's man cave, we see the usual that we've seen before, such as the Zone of the Enders statue and what appears to be a picture of a young Soviet soldier. I'm not sure exactly who that is. Could it be a young Rykov or maybe a young Granin? Either way, I'll let you guys be the judge. With the free cam, we get more of a close-up of the picture of Granin and the little traitor known as Huey Emmerich. It's also cool because we get to see in the little more detail of Granin's models of Metal Gears, which makes me wish I had them sat on my shelf because I have a thing for mech units. And as I've mentioned, the free cam can be a little bit blurry at times, or maybe it's just the game, but there is also a bathroom, not with much detail, but I never really knew there was one even there, so that's pretty cool.
Silence through the night.
What a thrill. Okay, so this has got to be the biggest thrill anyone can experience. Climbing this absolute beast of a ladder that will test your very existence. I'm telling you, people have died here, guys. You need that stamina on point. But seriously, I had to showcase this one. But from what I'm seeing is the same pattern, where a part of the map structure is upside down. I'm just getting nothing but Silent Hill vibes because there is a ladder that descends all the way down to the void, as well as one going up. So I was expecting for tons more to be found, especially at Groznyj Grad, and it's fair to say there really wasn't a right lot. Maybe you guys can find something yourselves when I put the video out for you to do it yourself. But investigating into some of the hangars, we actually get to see a glimpse of some small Soviet tanks, whilst in other hangars they are completely empty. But hold on guys, it's not looking great at the minute, but there is more interesting things to come. Entering Groznyj Grad facility is quite odd because nearly all the textures do not load in the rooms with the free cam. And whilst looking around, there is fire alarms and other items about, but you can't see the room fully. Not unless you actually go inside them. And there appears to be some sort of smoke underneath the map, and I'm not too sure what that is for, or if it was something to do with a fire extinguisher or pipes that spew out that smoke, just like it does in Metal Gear Solid 2 when you shoot the pipes or shoot the fire extinguisher. So once you get Rykov's uniform, you walk past the Shagohod's hangar, but you can't access this point until later on in the game, but the trusty cam can get round this. It's cool to see that all this is rendered and textured even at this point, considering we can't enter, but you can clearly see the mechanics roaming around and just doing their jobs. So I thought I'd take a look from the outside in, and once again Silent Hill vibes just come to mind. The room where you meet Sokolov is nicely rendered, but the man himself is not there as of yet. Although if we do look at Sokolov's workstation, aside from seeing his blueprints for the Shagohod, it appears he also has naughty magazines as well. Quite the kinky. What's a little profound is to think that the picture is of a nurse, a bit like Lisa from Silent Hill. Maybe not, maybe so. The free cam showcases everything, including Sokolov trying not to piss his pants with Eva's seductive ways. But what really made me break out laughing at the time was Snake hiding behind the door on the free cam and blatantly getting spotted by Eva before hiding away. But I guess in moments like this, you can't lose character. And just her subtle pause really seems like an acknowledgement that she did see him. In some cutscenes you can't really use the free cam, especially one like this that has a particular filter, but you can here, because when Sokolov is mentioning the Shagohod specifications, you can move the free cam all around the runway, but sadly you can't turn up the speed to match the object. It's the iconic jail section, and surprisingly we can move around the jail cells instead of just the torture room. Because the torture room hasn't only just been rendered by itself, everything around it is fully textured, including all the jail cells and even the warden's room. Sorry for scaring you a little bit there guys, but it needs to be noted just how damn well the facial animations and the structures of these characters hold up. It makes a lot of modern day games look awful in comparison. Everything, and I mean everything, is intact, and the eyes are amazingly well done. Mass Effect's devs really could have done with Kojima Productions' help on this one, don't you think guys?
I can't hold it anymore. Hold on. It's coming out. Here it comes. Still going. Wow. I didn't think that was possible.
So according to this free cam, Johnny goes for imaginary ship breaks, even goes the whole 9 yards in convincing us that's what he is doing, when in reality he's hoping we will escape without him noticing. It's such a shame that Kojima Productions didn't add this in. It would have been brilliant to see if someone would have added Johnny sat on the loo doing a poo for us later to find out in the free cam mod. So anyway, now you guys know what officially happens behind closed doors. And something that better be in the remake is a nightmare minigame known as Guy Savage. Sadly, when trying to use the free cam, it breaks and crashes the game, and some of the textures of the characters go missing and the game just grinds to a halt. But the free cam only works for specific games, and given on this being a port from a cancelled Konami title, hence why it's not compatible with free cam, but more games over the years are getting added to this free cam. So in MGS3, once you've escaped the jail cell, if you haven't removed the transmitter by now lodged in your back, let's just say Eva will give you a helping hand. We don't necessarily see what is going on, apart from the hilarious dialogue and shadows of wrestling, but the free cam shows a few interesting scenes, but they're not as over-exaggerated.
Snake, come here for a minute. There's something in here. It's so hard.
When did it get like that?
Hold still. Let me do it.
You know, I've been trained to do this kind of thing myself.
Just relax and let me handle it.
Okay.
I can't believe how small it is.
Yeah, but it gets the job done.
Really? Here, lift up your hips.
Like this?
Yeah. How's that?
You're pretty good at that.
Yeah, everybody tells me that. Hold steady, I'm not done yet. There, a transmitter.
Is that how they do it in the KGB?
So yeah, Big Boss wasn't exactly blowing loads like the scenes suggest. Eva is just an absolute tactician when it comes to removing objects out of awkward places. So now you know exactly what happens in that scene. So it doesn't get any more iconic than this location. Surrounded by white Bethlehem flowers, a symbol of the boss's charismatic presence. As we see her waiting for Snake, studying a T-pose with the Davy Crockett. We can also go further into the free cam. We get a good idea are what we can even see as we head towards the wig from the dock. No, not that nonce, but the dock that leads to the plane, it's partly textured as you can see, but with the cutscenes, with time running short, maybe it's something that you guys can explore in your own free time. But yep, that's the Davy Crockett that almost blew my speaker to shit. As you can hear the audio cracks and the severe FPS drops, but nukes tend to do that anyway, so who can argue? Having to kill the boss once again just makes me fall further into depression. But the free cam is really suited for this moment, because you get to see the expressions of everything all at once. There's even a moment in the free cam where we can clearly see Snake hold his chest or heart, almost like he is paying his respects to the boss, a message that I can see that he will always carry her in his heart. At least that's what my mind tells me.
Pick one up already.
So Ocelot was getting really upset because he wanted a revolver duel, but I told him I'm making a video, so just chill bro. But as you can see, the wig has taken on a new form, and all I could think was the bullets from Super Mario. As we reach the ending, we head into Snake's crib. Whilst he keeps Eva busy, we can take a look around and we can see he's a guy of acquired taste. He has a few photographs, paintings, flowers, and he really likes butterflies, as shown throughout most of the series, including a chessboard showing he has somewhat of a strategic intellectual mindset. It could just be a place that he has rented for a while, or just a fancy hotel that maybe Major Zero and people back at the US gave him. After all, he is a war hero now, and the booze is plentiful. And you're just guaranteed hangovers, that's for sure. There's big bottles of wine everywhere. There's even a wooden balcony outside, but the rest is just a random void. Using the free cam as Snake walks to be greeted by the president and finally take on the title of Big Boss, I could not help but notice these fiddle paintings on the wall, which fits perfectly well in the context of Snake's situation, as he was played like a fiddle by his own government. Maybe it's there for a reason, maybe not, who knows. We can now even get a better look at Zero, Sigint and Paramedic, and all the press and government officials, greeting Snake on his victory for the US. Funnily enough, after Big Boss collects his awards and says screw you all, ironically the Patriots T-pose Snake from trying to leave. And yes guys, before you ask, when Ocelot comes at the window on the free cam, it didn't seem to work. It's just once again a black box with nothing around or any hidden assets. Man, this is one clean game. And before we close this video, we come to the final grave scene, and looking further we can see that a lot of the gravestones are reused assets with all the same inscriptions, saying JB Nekon. I've tried researching it, but found nothing. Although, with that being said, I did find gravestones close to the boss's grave with the inscription saying Hiro Useda, who is actually a video game artist that worked on the Metal Gear games and Silent Hill. Hyro would be brought onto the project as a 3D artist and background designer. The first and the last level designs of Silent Hill 3, the central shopping centre that Heaven awakens, and in the church at the end of the game, including the nowhere portion of the final boss confrontation, are all her creations. But one grave Snake goes to clearly has the boss's sacred text written on her stone. All I can say, guys, is I've had fun and it's been wonderful making this video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed, although I would be lying that I'm a little bit disappointed because I couldn't find any secrets because this game is so perfectly clean. So remember to leave a like on my pinned comment if you're interested in me making a guide for you to do the same, because who knows what you may find. I'm the Voice Box, and until we meet again, guys.